Mm.
What you looking at?
Just stats.
Stats. What?
Just stats.
And I was just thinking about
What?
there's two types of people in this world.
What?
There's the type of people that think Andre 3000 is the dopest lyricist, and then there's everybody else. What side are you on?
Andre 3000 is the most sick lyricist ever.
Are we on the same team then?
Yeah.
So we don't have an argument today.
No.
I guess we're not even gonna have a show.
What?
The people
because I
can't
agree
even
with
see the show. Yes. Anytime you agree with me, the show is over.
But how can I'm not even going to try to go on the other side of that argument.
Why not?
Because Andre 2000 is just that dope.
Right. So if you agree with me on this, anything else I talk about, you should be on the same side.
No.
That's what we're here for. I mean, if people are watching this far into it, they've obviously seen the first episode and they didn't hate it, so they came back. Or they did hate it and they came back to see if they was going to keep hating it. I'm going to try to not be as much of a jerk on this episode. I'm going to try, but I can't help it. So if it comes out,
that's just your nature.
I'm being my authentic self.
Oh, so you're saying your authentic self is being a jerk?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, okay, got it.
You got to have a little bit of jerky cockiness to be like at the top of the game. And
what? Top of what game?
The top of the game, whatever game. Right? I'm not playing the game. I'm retired. But the people that are playing the game, like name a top athlete that don't have a little bit of like to them.
A little bit of cockiness?
Like a little bit of like, because sometimes if dudes are too nice and too friendly in the interview, you're like, that's fake, or I don't buy it. The dude is corny. Why you gotta get on my man Russ like that?
He just doesn't have that
you think he's
swag. He's
Russell
a nice
Wilson
boy.
pulled Sierra, so I don't care what you saying.
Cause she was on her whole new thing, so like her whole.
Listen. You don't want to get into my theory about that. We'll just say that Russell had to have a little bit of his edges had to be a little bit sanded down. He's not complete square. He got a little bit. Just leave it at that. Russ got a little. Russ got gang.
Okay, since we're talking about Russ, then. Well, let me go this way. I'm gonna slide this way.
Mm-hmm.
Is he still in the MVP race?
I think starting the season off, he was like that guy, and then he fell off a little bit, and then not just that, he fell off and then recovered because they're still winning. They're still a front runner to make it to the Super Bowl. But I think other people stepped up and kind of took the spotlight a little bit.
Like who?
What you mean who? Mr. Discount Double Check?
Mr.
Aaron? As much as you hate to admit it, Aaron Rodgers is a candidate for MVP this season.
Over Patrick Mahomes?
Over Patrick Mahomes.
Why over Patrick Mahomes, though? Because Patrick Mahomes still, like, they're 14-1, 15-1, whatever. Barely.
They're not the same Chiefs that we saw last year. I think defenses have kind of figured out not necessarily to stop Patrick Mahomes, but how to contain him. And he's still picking teams apart. He has a lot of weapons. And if it wasn't for teams like the Raiders just blowing it at the end of games, he would have more than one loss on there.
You just really came for my team right now.
I didn't.
You did.
I did.
You did.
They're just like us right now.
That's
sitting on the couch. So
I can't even.
But
I can't even defend.
Don't get me wrong. Patrick Mahomes he's a baller. Like, don't get it twisted. But I just think, like you said, he has a lot of weapons, and that whole team as a whole, they're hot right now.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers is in Green Bay.
Yes.
Have you ever been to Green Bay?
No.
There is nothing to do with Green Bay, so he has no choice but to focus on his craft. He's up there, and he's got Tay Adams, and that's his security blanket.
Very much so.
Like, you really can't name a lot of, unless you're like an avid football fan. You're not gonna just, like when you said the Chiefs, you can just name off Tyreek Hill,
right?
Travis Kelce,
yep.
The whole, even the coaches' names, right? Andy Reid, the offensive coordinator. Eric Bieniemy, who should be a head coach in this league. That's another topic we'll get on later.
Facts.
But like with the Packers, there's Aaron Rodgers and Tay Adams is becoming a household name because
Finally.
he's just unguardable.
I can't even argue with.
But
Context,
who else really can you name off the Packers like that for them to still be having performances that they're having?
Yeah, you can't.
Aaron Rodgers, more than 40 touchdowns, less than 10 interceptions.
But
Patrick
even
Mahomes
Patrick
is winning games by
Mahomes-
field goals right now. Like putting up 17 points.
Okay, Josh Allen.
Okay, Buffalo. Josh got the number one receiver in the league right now. From Minnesota. Worked his way out of Minnesota.
Yep.
Diggs got to Buffalo, still balling out. But then let's look even at the flip side because Diggs' replacement is doing the same thing that he was doing in Minnesota. Young guy. I think he's a candidate for Rookie of the Year. Justin Jefferson.
Over Herbert?
Hubert?
Hubert?
Who?
Hubert?
Who is Herbert? Who is Herbert?
What?
Who is Herbert? Who does he play for? The Chargers?
But he's still okay. His team is when you're like balling out your mind and your team is still trash. It's kind of hard to give you the accolades. It's kind of hard to give you the award when your team is just trash. So
because I feel like the reason he's balling out of control and putting up the numbers is because his team is not doing well. When you're behind in games early, or not even just early, but you're always trailing, as a quarterback, you're going to have more opportunities to throw the ball.
Right.
Now, granted, he still has to go out there and do it. Don't get me wrong, his accuracy has been on point.
Yep.
Like he's finding targets. He's got Keenan Allen, another top receiver candidate.
Yep.
But it's because they're losing. So I want to say, this was back in the day. This is like a history lesson. I want to say this was like the Broncos and the Cowboys are playing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tony Romo throws for like 500 yards and they lose. Is that on Tony Romo? Is that on the defense? Is the reason he had the opportunity to throw for that many yards is because they were losing? Because their defense couldn't stop Peyton, so they had to keep going out there. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like one of those situations. Whereas Justin Jefferson comes in, he's getting praised by veterans like Richard Sherman, saying like, this dude looks like he's been in the league 5 or 6 years. Like, he came out and started dominating right away at a position that's kind of difficult to adjust to, given the shoes he had to fill, like Pro Bowl type shoes. And what is he right now? I want to say he's a Pro Bowler based on the numbers that he's putting up.
Yeah.
Him and Diggs' numbers.
Pretty...
Diggs is still, top of the game, but Justin Jefferson, like the Vikings didn't really miss a beat, and they got more draft picks, and they saved some money, and they still got their other weapons they could feature. So that's my pick for Rookie of the Year offensively. Aaron Rodgers is my MVP today. Offensive Player of the Year.
Offensive, Alvin.
I mean, any man that played with grills, be slugged up and still go out there. And I mean, you seen what he's been doing all year. It didn't matter who the quarterback was. Teams can know he's running the ball, and he still gets the job done.
I mean,
should have had the record.
Just a couple weeks ago, right?
Should have had the record. He should have got 7 touchdowns. I feel like they. Can I say they? What's another word for it in vernacular? They played him. I was gonna say a word that probably can't use in church. But that's what they did to him by not allowing him to carry the ball for the touchdown. They put Taysom Hill in to run the ball, and that would have been a touchdown that he could have tied the record and got the 6. So when they came down the next time, they was like, okay, let's give him the touchdown. That could have been how they say sell. SEBM, sell. I'm sorry, 7. Or
I'm not a square.
As Maria Victoria would say, 7. Is that right? 7.
7.
Sí. I didn't say it right.
Sí. 7.
Sí.
Siete.
Sí.
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 Es 7.
Wait, hold on. English. What are you saying? You
I said yes, it's 7.
Oh, C.
mean,
this is a good time to introduce myself. My name is Ron. This is, you've already met this.
Tori. Tori.
Yo, who that sounded good? Tori. Nah, this is, whose side are you on? This is our opportunity to just kind of shoot the breeze, talk about current events, sports, and otherwise.
Right.
And how they tie into spirituality. Because, I mean, you know, we are in church.
We are.
But the church is not just limited to the walls. It's the people. We're everywhere. Mm-hmm. The church is us. I remember that little, I am the church. You were at the church. Remember that thing? Yeah. We are the church together.
You see all the people.
And then the people is in here. These people aren't practicing social distance because they're obviously way too close. But clearly. So church now is kind of like
everywhere.
Anyway. Yeah, so we're just gonna continue doing what we've been doing.
Right.
Obviously, you guys can chime in the comments if you agree with me. If you don't, you could probably save those comments.
No, let him know. Let him know when he's wrong. Please. I insist.
There won't be any comments if they do that.
Oh,
there won't be any comments.
There will be.
Listen, one day we're going to have to put up a poll because the show is called Whose Side Are You On? And there was an old song back in the day. And it was like something about whose side are you leaning on? Leaning on the Lord's side. It was like a little call and response.
And what are you trying to say with that?
I'm just saying, that was the song. That's where the show topic idea came from. Oh, that's so.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The Lord's side. Your side. The Lord's side.
Well, wait. Hold on. Time out. What? So you're saying your side is closer to God, where mine is not.
You said that. I didn't say that.
No, you implied that.
I implied that I'm on this side and you're on that side. Whose side are you on is the show. That's for them to decide. But you know where I be at?
What?
Where the money reside, where the money reside, where the money reside. Alright, so we've talked about MVPs.
Yup.
We talked about.
But see, I didn't even tell you who I chose.
Oh, I didn't care. But go ahead. You could.
I didn't care. You know.
No,
I
I apologize, Tori. I apologize. I said I wasn't gonna be a jerk this show, and it already slipped out. It slipped out.
He should just stop trying because clearly that's the personality we're getting. So, anyways, it just doesn't work for you. I'm sorry. I guess you just don't have to be a jerk, and I'll just have to let Maria Victoria show through.
There go to Claire Huxtable when she started going in. You hear the accent with the there you go. No, that was Speedy Gonzalez. That was Claire Huxtable.
Wait, football, right? Okay, back to what we were originally discussing.
The pigskin. Mm-hmm.
Since you picked Aaron Rodgers as MVP. Mm-hmm. Let's make a little wager.
Wager. Okay. What's the wager?
I think it's going to be Patrick Mahomes again. So, when we find this out, when they announce it, was it the day before the Super Bowl? That they usually announce this stuff?
Something like that.
We're going to be seeing who's going to be doing push-ups.
Oh, we're doing push-ups. How many push-ups are we doing?
25 push-ups.
25 push-ups. On camera?
On camera.
Or like...
On camera. No, we're going to do this. We're going to do this on camera. The people need to see you do 25 push-ups.
Okay, so what happens if neither one of them win it?
If neither one of them win it, then we both got to do 25 push-ups.
And we both have to do 25 push-ups?
We both lost.
All right. Do girl push-ups count?
They're called girl push-ups? You mean modified push-ups?
HR is going to have to contact me about that because that was not PC. You're absolutely right. Do modified push-ups count?
Yes.
Can I do modified
no.
push-ups? Why not?
Because
they are girl push-ups. I am a boy and you are a girl.
I'm a boy, Damon.
So you're making
anyway.
this. So you're basically saying that you have the advantage of being able to.
That's still not an advantage. It's still push-ups. I still gotta push myself up.
So you're already planning on losing.
I'm not planning on losing.
About me doing push-ups.
You are doing push-ups.
You get to do the modified push-ups. I'm gonna win the bet.
No, you're not. Anyway.
Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes. So this is what was supposed to happen last year. That was supposed to be the Super Bowl with the two State Farm people. Didn't work out that way. Nah, or whatever. We know that Aaron Rodgers got this one sold up.
We'll see.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers got it sold up.
Nah,
I don't see him winning this at this time.
Do you not see the Saints right now? Anyway.
The who? They're not even in the discussion. I know that they're sitting at the top of the NFC. What do they do in the playoffs? Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
But they're not going to see Minnesota, so it's not going to matter.
It doesn't matter who they play. LA, Minnesota, San Francisco. Well, not this year.
No, definitely not this year.
They'll find a way to choke.
Nah, I don't think so.
They'll find a way to choke.
No.
Defensive player of the year. Let's go. No, we talked about rookie of the year. Let's go defensive rookie of the year.
I ain't gonna lie. I have no clue.
Really?
No.
It's interesting that I'm holding this football right here. You see it. Player came from this school.
Mm-hmm.
Top pick. Playing for the Washington football team. See, I was politically correct there.
Oh, okay.
No letter from HR.
Good job.
Like, totally record shop. Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody expected them to be a contender. Well, they are in the worst division in all of sports, not just football.
All of sports.
Like, what other sport can you win like 30% of your games and still be in contention to go to the playoffs?
Every team in that division under 5. That's
Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles,
and the Giants.
New York Football Giants, and the Washington Football Team. I hope that they change their name soon. Like, I saw some. I can't
believe they had a whole. But how'd they have a whole meeting and come up with that?
Just being a jerk. The owners just trying to be jerks. Like, you're just not gonna give them a mascot. We'll let the people vote. But I saw some logos for like Red Tails. Like the Washington
I heard about that one. Yep.
Like paying homage to the Tuskegee Airmen.
Yep.
Things like that. So maybe that would be a good announcement, like post Super Bowl or even around that time with it being Black History Month. That'd be something dope if they decide to go that route. I hope they do. I will buy a shirt. I'm not buying a jersey. I refuse to buy a Washington jersey. I did have a Doug Williams jersey back in the day though. Black quarterback, first one to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
But he wasn't no offensive MVP outside of that game. So
yeah. Speaking of offensive MVPs, wasn't there like a discussion a few weeks ago about who's the greatest in football? And not even quarterbacks. We're not going to do that quarterback discussion. About this guy right here.
Oh yeah, the GOAT.
That GOAT.
The GOAT.
That GOAT.
The GOAT.
But his GOATness.
It's not even arguable.
Came into question.
Like, you know how last time we was talking about Mike or LeBron and you could
right.
argue, blah, blah. This one you can't argue. You can't. Men lie. Women lie. Numbers don't lie. So numbers can't be skewed.
No, not for those. So for those of you who don't know, we're talking about the Randy Moss, Jerry Rice debate that's been going around. Going around the sports media. Debates and all of that. And clearly, I mean, you can't even deny Jerry Rice's greatness and what he brought to the game. But you know, there's Randy Moss. Just the way he played the game was pretty sometimes, though. Just watching the game.
All right.
Like, his talent is undeniable. We ain't saying that.
He was all right.
But.
Like, nah, he was good.
But he was Jerry Rice. So who, okay. You play football. Mm-hmm. Who's your top 5 receivers?
Oh boy. Of all time or just like?
In the modern era. Yes, all time.
The modern era. What is modern? Of all time? Just off the top of my head, Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, T.O., Larry Fitzgerald.
That's a good one.
And the wild card that a lot of people don't even take into consideration yet because he's still playing, Julio Jones. Julio Jones. That man got 12,000 yards already. There's nobody even touching his numbers currently playing right now. Now, my favorite of all time is the homie Chad. Ocho Cinco.
Ocho Cinco.
But that's more than just what he did on the field. Like, obviously, he got the best feet.
Right.
Some of the best routes ever. But just his personality, the way he branded himself, the way he marketed himself, something I could relate to. Even who he is just off the field. Like, Chad was the cool guy. But in terms of, if we just going off of numbers, because that seems to be the precedent for all the arguments. Numbers.
That's everything.
So this is why I got Jerry number one, and there's like, when people talk about their top receivers, I don't even have to mention Jerry. There's Jerry, and then you can start your list of 5 after that. There's Jerry, and then there's...
It's like...
So like to me, Randy and T.O. were like this. So like looking at their numbers, almost identical. Almost the same amount of games played, very close in yards, very close in receptions, like 3 touchdowns separated. T.O.'s not really cocky like that.
He was when he was in Dallas.
That was the persona that he played up to.
Still played to it.
But there's Jerry. There's Jerry, and then there's
just the Raider one. But anyway, go ahead.
Because I got it when he was in Oakland. There's Jerry, and then there's Randy T.O. Randy.
Right. I can't even...
2A, 2B, depending on the day of what you want to make the argument about. But with Randy making that statement about, he feels he's the best as a receiver or even as a professional athlete, that's what you're supposed to say. Right? Yeah.
No, right. I agree. I have to agree. When I saw that, it's like, well, most athletes will say themselves, regardless of numbers or whatever. That most of them say themselves. I mean, why not?
Like, who's my favorite player of all time? Me. Like, that's what I'm saying. I put a lot of work into me, so I would like to thank me for making me. That was no
okay.
But
that's good.
But no, like,
bring back to earth.
No.
Yeah, I said it.
So Randy said this though. Like the first time it made a big deal, he was with the 49ers when they was playing in the Super Bowl, and he said it back then. So it wasn't just like all of a sudden he's just now saying it. He said it back then, like he felt that you're supposed to feel that way, but the numbers just don't support it. Like Jerry Rice, 22,000 yards, 1,549 catches, 208 all-purpose touchdowns. Yep. Like he's head and shoulders way above everybody else. Right. To put it in perspective, Julio Jones is like killing all the record books with the speed at which he got to. But listen what I'm saying. At the pace Julio's been playing at, to get to 12,000 yards, to catch Jerry Rice, to put up those kind of numbers, he would have to maintain what he's doing now for the next 10 years.
That's not happening.
It's not happening.
That's not happening.
So the same thing, the longevity. Jerry Rice played a long time, but he was still getting 1,000 yards when he was 40 years old.
Yep.
Randy Moss was getting like 300 when he was 30.
Yeah,
so it's not even the same. So
not
that's not an argument to me. Personally, I feel like, and I mean, whether it's speculated or not, Randy was smoking something to even make that argument. Because to look at the numbers and be like, I'm better than him. Well, he had 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Hall of Fame quarterbacks because they were Hall of Fame.
But he said he's not a numbers guy. That was his argument.
So then Jerry brought up the rings. How many rings Jerry got?
5.
What? I think he don't got 5. I think he got 3.
3?
He played in 4. Yeah, he got 3 because he played in 4 Super Bowls.
Oh, because he lost the one with the Raiders. My bad. I'm not
with the who?
Okay. Yes, he lost with the Raiders. Okay. That was such a horrible, horrible Super Bowl. But we're not gonna relive that.
We're not gonna relive that. We was talking about Randy being high. But
anyway.
Interesting segue. NFL is now talking about not testing for marijuana use. NBA is like on that same ticket.
Yeah.
I have my own speculations about that. Call it conspiracy, or it's really about a money grab. Yeah, it's about money.
I think so too.
A lot of players do the whole smoking thing. So I've heard. They partake in medicinal use of like CBD oil. It's pain management.
Before Gronk came back, he was a spokesperson. Let's make that very clear.
It was cool when Gronk is a spokesperson, but if it's like Josh Gordon or Ricky Williams, then it's a problem. Ricky Williams came in and said it was for his anxiety. This is back in the day.
Gordon.
Potential. A lot of potential.
Again.
Yeah, you didn't get that reinstatement.
No. Just, man.
Do you think it has to do more with like how it looks? Like the optics, like why they don't want. Because remember back in the 80s, there was like, just say no, weed is a gateway drug. And it would have you smoking crack and all this kind of stuff.
Who's the head of the besides Roger Goodell's the commissioner, but who really runs the NFL? It's Jerry Jones.
Even bigger than Jerry Jones, it's big pharmaceuticals. I hope they don't come find me for this somehow and find a way to tap into. But like. Players get hurt, they get injured, whatever the case is. They want to shoot them up with something. They want to cut them.
And not everybody wants to go that route.
You get guys addicted to pain pills, or they're flooding you with all this medication. Then you have to take medication for the side effects of the medication, and then you take medication for the side effects of the side effects of. And you end up with more. You watch them commercials, like the side effects is worse than what you're actually dealing with.
Like if you have and then you notice the volume gets lower as they're mentioning the side effects.
Yeah, because they got to read it off so quick. And I don't want you to realize, like, wait, so I'd be better off just with this little hurt elbow than I would with the cancer that all these medications is going to give me if I take them. Or
the possible death that I may ensue.
Yeah, that's a side effect.
Death. How can...
I'm not fooling with it. So, like I said, I think it's big pharma. Now that they can finally make money off of it, it's okay.
But yet... Again, I'm going to go back. Josh Gordon's still not in the league, yet it's okay now.
Josh Gordon just needs a mentor, man. Like, it's a lot of these coaches. I mean, coaching is like politics and anything else. You got a lot of old money, a lot of old big wigs and old heads running stuff. And the players can't really relate to them now.
Some new
but the NFL, even if you just look at the NFL, is what would you say the percentage of black players?
Oh, like 80.
Stupid high, right? Yeah. So, but they're underrepresented in terms of head coaches.
Yep.
Right? So they don't have head coaches necessarily. And that's not to say that white coaches can't relate to them. But we need to see people that look like us in positions of 100%. Power. Otherwise, you end up kind of like phasing your way out.
There is about, we'd say, between 70 to 80% players in the NFL are players of color, black, Latino, Asian.
There's like one.
Hey, I'm including everybody. We're being inclusive here. Inclusive.
Yes, we're being inclusive.
We don't need HR calling. So, we're being inclusive. So, wouldn't you say having someone to relate to on the field is key to your performance?
It definitely helps. Not even just from an ethnic standpoint, but just even in age. Like sports is like politics. You got a bunch of old people that's running everything, and you got all these young guys that there's a super gap in between. There's a disconnect, not just like I said, ethnically or racially, but just in age. There's nothing to bridge that gap, and so the relationship kind of just falls away. And so it does affect performance. You got guys, the teams that make it to the Super Bowl that end up winning it all. Right. They have like some of the best relationships between players and coaches. Mm-hmm. So I think relationships and winning go hand in hand.
100%. I think, especially you see on the sidelines, they're always high-fiving the coordinators and everything like that, but yet the head coach is just chilling. They don't have that personal relationship with the head coach. They have it with the coordinators. But then you see a coach like Mike Tomlin. He has...
Whoever you spend the most time with, that's going to reflect in how you interact. So players tend to spend more time with their position coach.
Mm-hmm.
Like even in the NBA, you see guys that are the assistant coaches. You might not know who they are, but they actually get out there and practice with the guys.
Mm-hmm.
So relationship, relatability, all that is about the amount of time that you spend talking to, like off the court, off the field. That's how you build. That's how you build your bond, build your connections, and that's, I think, is like the major key to success in how you foster that relationship.
So you say that, and seeing as we are at church, we want to make sure, everybody has a personal connection with God. It's the same exact thing. You want to be able to relate to God, and you can. You just talk to him. It's not formal. It's not a formal relationship. You just talk to him. If you have that personal relationship, he's on your side always. So if you want to come to God, come to Jesus. Comments, we have emails, everything. DM us. Let us know. We're always here for you in that sense.
Yeah, you could leave it in the comments. I want to be on the winning team. That's God's team. And you just leave that in the comments. And you're guaranteed a victory.
Yeah, on God's side.
On the Lord's side.
On the Lord's side.
Whose side are you on? Are you over here trying to use your looks to win votes? Making the little in vogue pose? That's cheating. Hey, we can edit this part out. Just cut this. Just cut it. Go to the words. Go to the subtitles. All that stuff. They're not watching no more anyway. Just go ahead and cut.
Thanks for watching another episode of Whose Side Are You On? Obviously, you're on my side. Anyways, thank you for watching another episode of Whose Side Are You On? Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, DM us, hit us up. Let us know what you want us to talk about, because I'm sure there's a ton of debates out there where, he'll be wrong and I'll be right. So
there's
make sure
none of the debates that I'll be wrong about unless you just want me to choose that side. But
stay locked in. Make sure you hit that notification button and stay updated. See y'all later.
Peace.